So the Pittsburgh Steelers just caught a huge break, and I'm going to get to this unexpected advantage for the Steelers coming up this season, early in the season. But before that, this just happened. And you guys, this is just really good news. ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that the Steelers and TJ Watt have agreed to terms on a 3-year, $123 million extension. And this once again makes Watt the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL history for the second time. And this is per Adam Schefter. No players recorded more sacks over the last 5 seasons than TJ Watt, who has 73.5 during that span. So we're kind of looking at $108 million fully guaranteed. All the details aren't out yet if this just happened. But you got to think this is a really legit deal for the 30-year-old pass rusher. And this comes just before the Steelers players report on July 23rd. That's just right around the corner. So just really good news. The Pittsburgh Steelers continuing to show that if you ball out for them, they will pay you. And man, you have franchise cornerstones that get time after time the opportunity to retire in the black and gold. So congratulations, TJ Watt. And let's kind of get to the Steelers' big edge here. Let's get to the Steelers' huge advantage. And we're kind of looking at the Steelers having a pretty difficult schedule, right? Especially in the latter half. The organization is going to take on the entire NFC North. Not easy. That's a division that could have, I think they could have 3 playoff teams coming out of that division. You got the Chicago Bears, who, they could definitely cause issues for the Steelers in late November. Plus, you've got the Minnesota Vikings. This NFC North matchup problem, this is kind of what I want to highlight. And I don't want to talk about the Bears today. I want to talk about this Minnesota Vikings game. That's going to be in week 4. And it's going to take place overseas in Dublin, Ireland. Now, the Minnesota Vikings, they face plenty of question marks as well, right? They're going to be starting a rookie quarterback in J.J. McCarthy. But really, the greatest uncertainty is what's going to happen with third-year wide receiver Jordan Addison. He's had some off-the-field legal issues, and that's going to play out in court. The court hearing was supposed to be July 15th, and now we're getting some news of what came from that. But this is the original report just out on Monday. Addison has a July 15th trial as a byproduct of a DUI citation last summer. He could face a 3-game suspension minimum. That's Alec Lewis of The Athletic. And this came out on Monday. This won't catch the Vikings off guard. I think they've known about this. But now, just today, there's some resolution. He is definitely going to get a suspension. Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison, he was set to go to trial on a DUI charge this week, but the case actually ended up getting resolved. There was a plea deal. So Addison's agent, Tim Younger, he announced that his client has actually agreed to a plea on a lesser charge in order to just settle the case, right? Don't go to trial. The lesser charge, it's actually known as a wet reckless. It carries a sentence that includes a fine, but it also mandates that Addison completes 2 online courses in order to end a probation period after 6 months. So Addison, basically, he's attended courses, he's attended events held by MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and he's also kept the Vikings apprised of all developments throughout this time. But we're looking at the legal process essentially being done. So the next issue is NFL discipline, and that's really the meat of this video. And we're looking at a 3-game suspension without play. That's generally the league's baseline penalty in cases involving driving under the influence, and even with a wet reckless plea deal, that doesn't help him at all as far as avoiding an NFL suspension, because it's essentially a guilty plea that acknowledges that Addison was under the influence at the time of his arrest. Guys, I don't see any way that he avoids this baseline 3-game suspension. But it could, if you actually look at what happened, it's kind of a little crazy that 3 games is the minimum. It could very well extend into 4. And guess what? The Steelers play the Minnesota Vikings in week 4 in Dublin, Ireland. So the Vikings could be sitting there without their number 2 receiver, which is huge because he's their deep threat. He's the only really credible receiver behind Jet. Uh, at the best case scenario, this could be this guy's been away from the team. He's not familiar with playing with his new quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, because they simply haven't been able to link up for meaningful game reps. That could be his absolute first game back with the Vikings, fresh off a suspension, having to go overseas. So if he's suspended, obviously that's a huge advantage, right? But even if he's not suspended, or even if it's only for 3 games, mind you, that's still going to be a huge disadvantage for the Minnesota Vikings. So it's going to they're going to need to run the football effectively if this happens. I mean, and the Steelers have beefed up their run defense in a huge way. I think that's going to be the strength of this defense. And behind Justin Jefferson, you're pretty much looking at TJ Hawkinson. He's going to serve as the primary target hog behind him. And then who you got? Jalen Nailor, and then a rookie wide receiver, Ty Felton. That's really pretty much all that the Minnesota Vikings have behind Justin Jefferson if Addison is in fact suspended. So if you look at Addison as a player, this is kind of interesting. It is the offseason. We've got a little extra time to kind of lean in on these subjects. And many of you are going to see Addison as a really familiar place because he was drafted in the 2023 first round out of USC, but he actually started his career at Pitt. And he actually played with former Steelers quarterback Kenny Pickett. And when they played together, absolutely historic season. Pickett, he was named the Heisman Trophy winner. And then you're also looking at a big honor for Addison. He won the Biletnikoff Award. I can never say that name. So we're looking at week 4 in Dublin. If he gets a 3-game suspension once again, his first matchup of the season would be overseas. And even if he returns, he's going to be matched up directly against a new trio of secondary players, right? We've got Joey Porter Jr., Darius Slay, Jalen Ramsey. And last season, you're looking at Addison kind of lighting the league up. He caught 63 passes for 875 yards, 9 touchdowns. Man, it would be nice to not have to face him. And if the Steelers have to face him, man, you guys have absolute horses at cornerback now, absolute studs. You should be able to hold them in check regardless. But if he's not there, what a huge development. So it's looking like he's going to be getting acclimated to the 2025 season, at the very least on the receiving end of a 3-game suspension, and that's due to this off-field incident. And yeah, let's kind of look at the DUI a little closer. And also what he's done in his career. He's tallied 133 receptions, 1,786 receiving yards, and 19 touchdowns across 32 games played, 29 games started over his first 2 NFL seasons. And we're kind of looking at, man, he pleaded guilty. The results remain unclear, but actually, like, what is happening is that he was essentially caught sleeping in his car, which is absolutely crazy. I'm trying to find it here, exactly what the specifics were of this. Let me find this here. So basically what happened here, the NFL is waiting for the trial to be complete. That's completed. Now there's going to be deciding on his punishment, but it was actually an incident at LAX. And what actually happened here, which is absolutely crazy, he was charged with 2 misdemeanors. He was accused of driving under the influence of alcohol and driving with a blood alcohol content over the legal limit of 0.8%. He was actually found asleep at the wheel at LAX airport. And officers obviously performed a DUI investigation that resulted in his arrest. So he was literally found asleep in his car, trying to sleep it off. I mean, Justin Jefferson is an absolute stud. The Vikings are going to be a formidable foe no matter how you cut it. I don't want to celebrate this happening with Jordan Addison. Obviously, he has a family. He has a career. This really hurts him. I just praise God that nobody was hurt. I praise God that he was asleep with his car just parked at LAX instead of having him fall asleep at the wheel or worse. So we can feel really blessed that nothing really bad happened as far as collateral damage besides damage to his career and his arrest record, obviously. But you guys have a really difficult record at the second half of this season. I think you take any advantage that you can possibly find, and this is definitely an advantage. You guys let me know in the comments, as you always do. And hey, celebrate this signing of TJ Watt. Just a huge thing that you are fans of a team that actually rewards their own. And now you've got this unexpected advantage coming up at the beginning of the season, and you guys should take every advantage you could get. I'll continue to be here with an outsider's view on your Pittsburgh Steelers, kind of an impartial view. I hope this is fruitful. If you enjoy this, if it's just fun to watch, hit the subscribe button, and I will continue to be here on the daily. See you guys later.